Hey guys, Ben Beck here for Next Level Radio, bringing you another guest spotlight, and I have to say, this one is probably one of my personal favorites. This time around, we got to speak with the one and only improvisational genius, Mr. Colin Mochrie, from the television show Whose Line Is It Anyway, which can be currently seen on the CW every Monday night, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central. Colin was fantastic to talk to. He was very engaging, cracked a lot of little jokes right there, a lot of small jokes. So we definitely encourage you to check out Whose Line if you haven't already, but something tells me most of you are probably already a fan. Check out his tour with him and Brad Sherwood, which you can find tour dates at www.colinandbradshow.com. Check out his site, colinmochrie.com, and also follow him on Twitter at Colin Mochrie. That's about it, guys. Sit back and enjoy this interview with the one and only Colin Mochrie. All right. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Next Level Radio Guest Spotlight. I am your host, Ben Beck, joined by my co-host, Adam Gorey, and we are both extremely excited to be joined by our guest this evening. If you ask us, he really needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. He's an award-winning comedian, having won 2 Canadian Comedy Awards, a Gemini Award, and an award from the Writers Guild of Canada, not to mention many other nominations, but he's known best for his work on the show Whose Line Is It Anyway. Please welcome Captain Hair himself, Mr. Colin Mochrie. Colin, thanks so much for spending some time with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, I know we have a very limited amount of time with you, although I could talk to you probably for hours because I'm a huge fan, so I want to jump right into things.
Okay, I'm pretty boring, so good luck to you.
Something tells me that's probably far from true.
Well, you make your own decision after this.
All right. I know a common punchline throughout the course of the show is you being from Canada, and I know that's where you live. And I know that's where you've spent most of your life as well, but I think something a lot of people don't know about you is you're actually born in Scotland, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I was born in Kilmarnock, Scotland, quite a few years ago.
Do you ever get back to Kilmarnock?
No, people have told me not to. It's not apparently a great place to go. I actually just got back from Edinburgh. I was doing the Edinburgh Festival out there. We were doing sort of a British Whose Line reunion. So we had 20 shows, and I was very close to going, but as I say, people have said, no, there's no reason for you to. Edinburgh is beautiful, just stay here and eat.
Yeah, I did hear rumor that there was supposed to be some kind of UK reunion, and that's what it was. It was out in Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was lovely. I hadn't seen many of the British cast for years. Greg Proops was over there, who I see constantly. But Josie Lawrence and Mike McShane and Paul Merton. So it was nice just not only getting a chance to work with them again, because they're fantastic to work with, but also just a chance to catch up personally.
Yeah.
Well, I know with all the different types of comedy that there are, sketch, stand-up, Ben and I personally agree that improv is probably the most difficult while also being the most rewarding when a joke hits big. What is it that made you want to get into improv out of all the different kinds of comedy out there?
When I was in theater school, I saw a demonstration of it, and I thought, this is something I think I'd like to try. In theater school, I had sort of been, I would always get the comedy roles because that seemed to be my strength, and I thought this was a different way to use whatever skills I had, and I was very fortunate at the time I joined. There was just an amazing group of people who were improvising. It's where I first met Ryan Stiles. And there were a lot of great writers and people in television. So I learned a lot in those early years of improv. And also, I'm basically lazy. And the best thing about improv is you just kind of show up and make up crap, and then you're done. It's the perfect job for a guy like me.
Now, I know... obviously you've been a part of Whose Line for as long as, I know at least as long as I can remember. I mean, I don't think there's really been an episode that I've seen that you haven't been on, as far as both the UK cast and the US cast.
Yeah, the UK, it took a while for me to ingratiate myself with the people there. My first show wasn't, well, how can I put it? I sucked. So that made it difficult. But God bless Dan Patterson and Mark Levison, who produced the show, because they felt that there was something there that they could use, and so they brought me back. And it wasn't until maybe the last 3 seasons that I was in every show. It was always, they would promise me a couple because they didn't quite trust me, and then it sort of worked out. I kept doing that. Then when it went to the American, even though when before Drew was involved, they actually wanted to get rid of Ryan and I, and wanted handsome, good-looking improvisers. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I know the show ran in the UK probably for about a good 10 years, and then it had a really impressive run in the US too when it came over. I think for about a good 8 or 9 years, and now it's back on the CW, and you guys just got renewed for your 3rd season on the CW, which is great.
Yeah, it's like a vampire. You just can't kill it. It just keeps coming back, sucking more blood, maybe sleeping for a while, then comes back.
No, go ahead.
And I think for this incarnation, I really have to thank the Internet. A lot of us have been touring. Brad Sherwood and I have been touring for 11 years. And we found in the last couple of years, our audiences have actually been getting younger, and it's all because of YouTube. Mm-hmm. Kids that weren't born when the British or the first American show was happening have sort of caught up with it. So there sort of was this groundswell of appreciation for the show, and it always seemed to me like a no-brainer for a network to put it on. I mean, it's the cheapest show in the history of television, and it reaps great dividends. So I was always surprised that no one tried to bring it back.
Yeah. What is the most expensive part is probably that box of props you guys get, or are those found in like dumpsters?
I wish you were kidding, but you know what? That's exactly right. That box of props is worth more than the 4 improvisers.
One thing I've always been curious about it is through the run of the show, it's had numerous hosts. I mean, you had Clive Anderson in the UK, who hosted through the course of that show. Then you had Drew, who hosted when it came back in the US, and now you have Aisha Tyler. And I've always personally been a bigger fan of Drew as a host, not because there's anything wrong with Aisha or Clive, but mainly because I feel Drew opened himself up to potentially being part the butt of the joke, as well as participating in the games, which I always found a lot of fun. Do you feel that the host is a large part of the show in itself, or the outcome of the situations, or do you think it really just doesn't matter who the host is at that point?
Oh, you could put anyone in there. We're the stars. No, that's not true. The host does sort of set the tone. I mean, Clive was so quintessentially English, and he had that sort of dry, sardonic manner that Greg Proops loved. And Drew was so American, and he was also a big fan of the show. I think that was also part of his appeal. He would laugh louder at us, I think, than the audience would. And God bless, he always fought having to do the improvising. He would always say, these guys are the guys who do it. I just a stand-up, I'd rather just sit and watch. But they made him do it, and God bless him. He would set up a weekly thing at the Improv on Melrose in L.A., where we would go out and do an hour of improv, just so he would sort of get more relaxed with it. Aisha, the trouble with Aisha is, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's a nerd. There's nothing about her that we can make fun of. So we're still trying to find that, but we'll find it.
Well, I mean, at the rate you guys are going, like I said, just renewed for the 3rd season, it seems like you'll have plenty of time because, I'm sensing hopefully another long run, of this series iteration as well. You always hope. The thing about this business is you never know from day to day. I would think I think we're one of the highest rated shows on the CW right now. So I think as long as that keeps happening, they'll keep us going. But, as I say, things change. So as long as they keep bringing us back, we'll keep doing it because it really is the best of all possible gigs. It's like 3 weekends out of the year. It's goofing around with your friends. It's really hard to find a better job.
Yeah. Well, I think to me the hardest part, if I ever had to do improv, and I don't think I'd be able to, but if I did, I think the hardest part would be doing the bit or doing the game when it comes to Whose Line and not laughing. And you seem to be one of the people who, out of everybody, is the best at being able to get through it without, breaking. What are some techniques that you use so that you kind of don't laugh and don't break during the bit, or even just to hone and improve your improv skills?
Well, the first thing is I don't really find the others amusing, so that really helps. They've yet to do anything that I find funny. I mean, part of it is just stubbornness that I'm not going to break up. I want to get through the scene. And also, when you see someone else start to laugh, that's when sort of your killer instinct comes in and you think, oh, okay, I'm just going to make it worse for them. And that makes it easier for you, actually. If someone else is breaking up on stage, you can just sort of sit back and go, oh, well, isn't that unprofessional? That's horrible. So I'm lucky. I mean, there's such a sense of joy and pride when I make one of those guys break up, because, they're all pretty jaded. They've all seen all kinds of comedy for many years. So when you actually make them laugh, you do feel like you've accomplished something. Not like curing cancer, but still, it's something.
Yeah, I mean, I know you had mentioned it earlier, about Drew and how Drew would laugh louder, than the crowd would sometimes. And I think some of those were probably some of my favorite moments because Drew's laugh to me was so infectious.
Yeah.
It really was. It was quite infectious. And he would actually cry, which was so endearing. To actually make someone laugh till they cry like a little girl, it's a wonderful job to have.
And I know, like, something else I was a big favorite of, too, is it's right along the same lines as you, as Adam said, being able to hold off and not break. Ryan was pretty good at that, too, in my opinion, but it seemed like you were the only person who could make him break. And the moments when Ryan broke, I found hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, part of that, we've known each other for, over 30 years. We basically started doing improv together in Vancouver. So we have a long professional and personal history. So a lot of times the things that make him laugh are in-jokes that I don't even know about. And he'll just start laughing. And then afterwards I said, what was that about? There was one greatest hits where I said tapioca.
I remember that.
And he just dissolved, and I had no idea why. And afterwards I said, what was it about that made you break up? And he said, you sounded like Colonel Klink, which is like one of the most random things. And it wasn't something I was playing up. It was just, it was just bizarre. But it just dissolved him, and I'm very proud that it did.
Yeah, it seems like every time you guys do the, I don't remember the exact name. Is it just called the hands game, where he uses your hands?
Yeah.
It seems like at that time, every time you're shoving something into his mouth, is usually the best time to catch him, breaking a little bit.
Yeah, it's, he's pretty much at my mercy. I mean, I'm shoving my hands in his mouth and doing things I certainly would not do in real life because of certain laws. But he is at his most vulnerable at that point.
Yeah, I think he licked your fingers last week or the week before or something like that. Last week's
episode. Well, that he does in real life.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it.
Over the run of the show, I know you guys have worked with a number of different, guest celebrities who have come on and comedians. I know you've worked with Whoopi Goldberg, Stephen Colbert, Kathy Griffin, and now with the CW iteration, you have celebrities like Misha Collins, Lauren Cohan, Jack Osborne. Do you find it difficult to incorporate people like that who might not have a background in improv when you guys are going for the joke?
Yeah, there's a certain level of difficulty because you don't. Usually when you're improvising with people at least more than a passing acquaintance. So when the new people come on, you also want them to enjoy the experience. So you're trying to make sure you're building up their confidence, trying not to make fun of them, making sure they're a part of the scene. Mm-hmm. But it can be tough, especially. A lot of the young women that come on the show, they're put into the living scenery scene where Ryan and I have to do things with them. Yeah. Use their bodies in a way. And that's a little uncomfortable, especially at this point where we're clearly at least twice their age. So it immediately, my thing is, how do I touch this woman's breasts without making it seem creepy?
Yeah.
I have yet to find the answer.
I don't think there is one.
I don't think there is. So you try to just get through it. But what I can say about all the guests that come on is they're totally committed to doing it. I mean, I can't imagine another scenario where a person would go into a field where they have no experience and are just willing to do it.
Yeah.
So, I give them kudos just for coming on and doing. We've been working together for over 20 years, so it's a fairly well-oiled machine, and for them to jump into that, it would be like if I went to, some brain tank somewhere who were trying to figure out how to split the atom. I'd be totally out of my. Well, no, I wouldn't, because I've actually done that, so that's all right. But I give them full points for coming on and taking the chance to look like a complete idiot.
Yeah. One of the names I didn't list in that I kept out for a reason, mainly because it's one of my favorite episodes, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. I know one episode that you did, and it's kind of sad now, unfortunately, because of his recent passing, but you did an episode with Robin Williams as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, just from my own personal, curiosity, how was it working with him? Because it seemed like he just had so much fun, and he just loved just being a part of that.
It was truly one of the highlights of my career to be able to work with Robin. I saw, when I first saw him in Mork and Mindy, I had what I think probably the same feeling he had the first time he saw Jonathan Winters. I just thought, this is amazing. Who is this guy? What's he doing? And he was shooting 1 hour photo up in Vancouver. So he just basically flew down, and he had to fly back after the taping for the next day's shooting. And he was just amazing. First of all, he raised everyone's energy 150%. Mm-hmm. He was just lovely to everyone, the crew, the audience, and all of us. I mean, he was an Oscar-winning actor, and he joined us, and he was just one of the guys.
Yeah.
And he had such a great time, and he actually stayed longer than he was supposed to. The last half hour of the taping is usually the worst part, because it's going over. As we're doing the show, the producer is cutting the shows into 3 or 4 different shows. Mm-hmm. So the last half hour to an hour is just the host going, all right, now we're going to play sound effects. And then, we stand up as though we haven't done it before. And it's basically for edit points during the show. And he didn't want to leave. And we had more fun. He was having so much fun with the audience and with us. It truly was not only a great professional point, but personal too, because I just saw this guy who didn't really have to be nice to us, was just amazingly sweet. I mean, right. I only knew him from that one time. Greg Proops knew him better. They were both from San Francisco and as stand-ups. And Ryan had worked a couple of times with him. But from every report, it's just people first talk about how lovely he was and then talk about how funny he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that showed during that episode is the chemistry everybody had together, and that's one of the most important parts, I guess, about improv is chemistry with everybody, especially when it involves, 2, 3, 4 people.
Yeah.
What's the process? Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, what's the process like, when you're trying to find, somebody new or adding a guest like that? Or, what do you do when 2 members maybe don't quite get along as they are normally?
You just get through it. I mean, in theory, you should be able to work with any other improviser. We all have the same vocabulary. We know what the rules are. But there are some times it doesn't work. And it doesn't necessarily mean because it's someone you don't get along with personally. There's just sometimes, for whatever reason, things don't meld. When I was at Second City, There was a guy there, Patrick McKenna, who is a very successful Canadian actor, and one of my best friends. And for the first 4 months we were in the company together, we couldn't improvise together. And it was really frustrating because I find him very funny and enjoyed it. And then we realized it was because we were both being very polite with each other and waiting for the other one to sort of take charge. And then once we figured that out, it just sort of liberated us. And then he became one of my favorite people to work with. So it could be just the slightest thing that can, set off the chemistry, as you say, but keep at it. I mean, with Ryan, it was pretty much there from the very beginning. From the very first time we improvised, it just worked. And with some other people, it takes a little while to get the chemistry going, but you can do it.
Right. Well, I know. Go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously, with you and Brad touring, I'm sure you guys have some good chemistry and stuff like that. I mean, you guys, unfortunately, we had missed you when you were in our area most recently. We're in the Philadelphia area, and you were at Easton, I think, last fall.
Yeah. We're coming back in November, so.
Yeah, I know you're going to be, I think, in York, Pennsylvania in November, and then you won't be back to Easton until November 2015. And I know people can go to colinandbrad.com for tour dates. I mean, does that always, are you touring while the show is filming as well?
Yeah, the filming of the show is so, as I say, it's 3 weekends. So it doesn't take a lot of time. We usually do it in January or March when the tour is just starting up again.
Right.
And they work around, or they try to work around everyone's schedules. Wayne's busy with Let's Make a Deal. Ryan's busy with other things. It's actually amazing that they can get us all together. But yeah, we do a lot of traveling.
Well, I mean,
a lot of traveling.
The show is obviously very popular because, I mean, as Adam said, you guys are back. I looked at the tour dates to see when you were coming back to Easton. I saw you the last time you were in Easton. And I've seen you actually 2 or 3 times already. And what I love about going to see your show is that because it's improv, it's a completely different show every time. And
yeah, and because we do come back to places often, most of the work that Brad and I do on the show are coming up with different games and trying to find different ways of doing the show so that it is totally different. Most of that is trying to find different ways of getting suggestions, so we get things from the audience we've never had before, getting the audience to act, getting an audience to shout out things other than gynecologists and proctologists. It can be difficult sometimes, so it's trying to find a way to couch the question so you get something that makes them think, a little outside the box, a little outside of the world of normal, and yet give us something to work with.
Yeah. I remember one of the times I'd seen you was actually at Millersville University, and this was probably about 5 years ago. And just one of the running jokes that you guys had going all night was the pronunciation of Lancaster, whether it was Lancaster or Lancaster. And it was just part of the show for the rest of the night. And it just showed me like how brilliant the improv is between you and Brad and the chemistry that you guys actually do have when you travel.
Yeah, I mean, this is our 11th year. I've known him over 20 years. So, again, all of that works towards us having a great relationship. I mean, it's hard for bands to go for 11 years touring, and we're still absolutely loving it. And part of it is I think we have the same sort of work ethic and the same just sort of love of improv, and the fact that it is different every night, so we never get into a rut. It's not like we have to go out there and do our greatest hits every show. Every show is its own beast, and every show has a different running joke because of something we've gotten from the audience or something that's happened that day. So I can see this going until both hips go.
Well, I mean, some of the stuff that you guys do, I have to ask, which one of you two nutcases came up with the mousetrap game?
Brad,
yeah.
Brad has a real dark streak in him. Yeah, the mousetraps game, we're blindfolded, barefoot, and doing a scene on 100 live mousetraps. And usually the improv at that point isn't that great, but the audience just loves watching us hurt ourselves. And we've tried to sort of ease it out of the show because it's, for many reasons, it's not one of our favorite games.
Can't imagine.
But the audience revolts if we don't do it. So we're constantly, no matter how great the show is, there's that moment where you go, oh, man, now it's mousetraps.
Yeah.
It's just the worst.
I know we're getting ready to wrap things up, and one final question about the tour and everything, because we're definitely going to send people to the website, because, like as I said, I've seen it, and I want to send other people to see you guys, because it's absolutely hysterical. The tour mainly goes in smaller venues, as does the Whose Line show. Is there something about that smaller audience that appeals more to improv?
It's, improv is a more intimate art. I mean, most of the theaters we play are, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500, and that's a little big. We once did a show for 10,000 at a Coliseum. It was just insane. I mean, they had screens, but it just asking for a suggestion, you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
So we enjoy the smaller venues. We actually a couple of years ago were doing a couple of weeks up at Just for Laughs in Montreal, and it was like a 300-seat theater, and that was great. That was like going back to our roots, where we'd be working in smaller places. It's fun, and it's with the bigger places. I think we've become kind of successful in including everyone and making it seem a lot more intimate than it is, but it can be a tough time sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I know we're getting to the end of our time, but usually how we like to wrap up our interviews is we like to do what we call our rapid fire.
All right.
And basically how that works is Adam's just going to shoot a couple questions at you. They're real quick. They're not anything too detailed. Just answer with the first thing that pops into your head.
All right.
Yeah, but before we get started, I know we might be talking actually to Brad at some point in the next couple weeks. Do you have any advice for us when we talk to him? Should we hit on any topic?
Yeah, don't actually tape them. You won't get anything. You just won't get a thing.
We'll just do that.
He'll say some horrible things about me, and then he'll talk about his time on the dating game. It's just not worth it.
All right, good. I'll write that down. I gotta remember.
Yeah, write that down.
Right. So let's get into the questions here. First one is, who's one person that you've always wanted to improv with but haven't been able to?
Steve Carell.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Next one, and Ben and I both differ on the answer to this question. What's your favorite game on Whose Line out of all the games that there
are? Greatest Hits.
Okay.
Okay. His is.
I get to sit down.
That's true. Yeah, I know my personal favorite scenes from a hat. I love that game.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
And mine was the expensive props.
Oh, props. Can I tell you? Next to Hoedown, props is the most hated game on Whose Line. Everything that comes out just looks like genitalia, and you can't use it. So you just go, well, I think I used cock last week. I can't do it this week.
I can't tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many times I've heard throughout the run of the show. Burying Madonna or burying Pamela Anderson.
Oh, exactly. It's just like, okay, it's breasts or it's a penis or testicles.
They need to expand a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, they do.
Last one, and then we'll wrap up. If you never got into improv, what do you think you would have done, or what would you like to do?
I'd be a street person, because I have no skills. The fact that I'm making a living doing something that wasn't a job when I was growing up astounds me every day of my life. Well, I really can't do anything else.
You must be good at it.
I got famous at it, so that helped.
Well, I know Adam and I are both huge fans of you, so we definitely want to thank you for joining us tonight. And we want to send people your way. Obviously, check out Whose Line Is It Anyway on Monday nights on the CW at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. Your website is colinmochrie.com, but we want to send people also to colinandbrad.com to check out tour dates. And we encourage people to follow you on Twitter at Colin Mochrie. So,
oh, yeah.
But, Colin, this was awesome. But like I said, we're both huge fans, so this was a great pleasure for us. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you. My pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
To everybody listening, thank you for joining us tonight. Please check us out, www.nextlevelradioonline.com, and follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. In the meantime, we'll see you around the bend, guys. Take care.